Today I am sharing the 10 most common decor or wedding styling mistakes and how to avoid them. If you're getting married soon, know someone who's getting married soon, or are designing for an event or wedding soon, you want to stop whatever you're doing and watch this video. If you're wondering why you aren't seeing me on screen right now, it is because we are moving home and office and I am surrounded by clutter. But I still wanted to show up for my community because I love you. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you for watching my videos. Thank you for subscribing. And if this is the first time you're coming across any of my videos, I hope that you do subscribe because I'll be sharing a lot more event and wedding tips in the coming weeks. So today we are talking about the 10 most common mistakes that I see in event and wedding design. But before we move on to those mistakes, there are 4 things that I need you to know about event and wedding design. The first thing is event or wedding decor should always be beautiful, of course, but it should also be functional. Number 2 is you want to consider the venue or location when you're choosing your event or wedding colors. Number 3, your decor should always reflect your own personality, or if you're designing for somebody else, then the decor should reflect their personality and style. Number 4 is you always want to put together a vision board to guide you. I do have a previous video on how to put together a vision board or a mood board for your wedding. So if you haven't seen that video yet, I'm going to link it in the description below so you can watch that video after this one. So let's talk about some of the mistakes that you likely are making when designing for an event or wedding. The first is space planning. Now, before you start brainstorming design ideas for the event or wedding, you want to request for a blueprint of the space from the venue. If this isn't available, you want to grab a tape measure and measure the length and width of the space. You also want to measure the height of the space if it's in an enclosed space such as a hotel ballroom. You want to think about the kind of event it is, how many guests the space can accommodate, how the venue will be used, and plan your design around this. That way, you're sure to make the most of the space available and avoid selecting design props that are too big or too small for the event. When you're creating your seating plan, you want to take note of doorways, exits, and entrance points to avoid placing large decor props in areas that block the flow of traffic. Number 2 is table decor. One of the most common event and wedding styling mistakes I see is installing wrong height centerpieces. Like I said before, although the event should look beautiful, it is important that it is also practical and functional. When selecting centerpieces, you want to keep floral arrangements and table accents under 14 inches or above 20 inches so your guests can see and have a conversation with each other across the table. So when you're installing your low centerpiece arrangements, you want to place your elbow on the edge of your table and ensure that the centerpiece is no higher than your wrist. Number 3, charger plates. When you are setting out your decorative plates, you always want to implement the rule of thumb. Select a table that has enough room for your charger plates, as well as your centerpieces and any other table decor that you're planning to place on the table. Your centerpieces should always be at least half a thumb away from the edge of the table, not overflowing over the edge of the table. The 4th mistake I see is the absence of a focal point. Every room needs a focal point. This could be a well-designed custom backdrop, the wedding cake, an elaborate ceiling treatment, whichever you choose. Always incorporate a feature that draws your guests' eyes as soon as they step into the space. This is your opportunity to be creative. So make a statement with a feature that enhances the rest of your decor, creates visual interest, and is also memorable. Number 5 is poor lighting. Lighting is one of the most fundamental aspects of any event design, yet it is also the one which is often overlooked or left to the very last minute. When you're designing an event space, you want to consider outsourcing the main lighting of the event space to an experienced lighting technician who has a good understanding of how to properly illuminate a space. Nothing screams lackluster like a poorly lit event. You want to create a warm, welcoming space by introducing layers of lighting that show off your tablescapes and all of your other decor elements that you work so hard on. Play around with power cans, bulbs, and candles to create a well thought out ambience that looks and feels luxe, and your guests and their Instagram audience will love you for it. The 6th mistake I see is failing to factor in electrical needs when planning a space. Poorly planned cord management is likely to have you experiencing technical difficulties throughout your entire event. If you want to prevent the music from going off every half an hour or a complete blackout in the middle of an important moment, be sure to map out power sources during your event recce and ensure you keep them in mind. Number 7 is guest demographics. Before you design any event, you want to confirm what age bracket the majority of your guests will fall into so you can plan the space with comfort in mind. If the majority of the guests are elderly, consider sourcing furniture that is sturdy and comfortable. If lots of children are expected at the event, you want to plan out separate seating that is more suitable for kids. Get creative with this, put together a kids corner perhaps with lots of activities for children so that their parents can have a good time. Number 8 is crowd control. Guys, no one enjoys an event that is overcrowded and difficult to navigate. So when you're designing for an event, you want to use tools like computer-aided design software and event capacity calculators to determine the amount of space you need for your event. As a general rule, allow an average of 12 to 14 square feet per person for a seated event. Allow about 6 to 9 square feet for a cocktail event and 8 feet per person for wedding ceremonies or theater style events. Obviously, with all that is happening right now in the world, you want to double these figures, but these are the standard figures that you want to keep in mind when you're designing for your event. Number 9 is food service points. Be strategic with the layout for your catering or buffet service points to avoid traffic jams and uncomfortable situations. When you're working with large crowds, consider creating multiple food or buffet tables to allow easy access and free flow of human traffic. Create matching food labels to both help your guests along and also offer visual interest for your overall design. Mistake number 10 is probably the biggest mistake I see. Underestimating the amount of time needed to install the specific design is a recipe for disaster. The last thing you want is to have your guests arrive when you are still setting up, because it leaves you very little room to pay attention to detail. To ensure you have enough lead time for especially large installations like ceiling treatments and fairly large backdrops, always confirm timings with the venue and plan accordingly. You want to aim to complete setup at least an hour or 2 clear of the event start time to enable you conduct a final walkthrough to inspect all of your setup, your tablescapes, your entire design, and correct any mistakes or anything that may have been overlooked. So those are the 10 most common event and wedding styling mistakes that I see. I hope that you have enjoyed this video. If you have, please remember to smash the like button, and if you haven't subscribed yet, do subscribe and hit the notifications bell as well so that you receive an alert whenever there's a new video. I look forward to seeing you all again, same time next week. Bye-bye.